Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is Headcanon Graps. This is my channel, and this video series that I want to start off is going to be called Off the Dome, and these are just my initial thoughts of what I thought of the Raw I just watched, or the SmackDown, or the Dynamite now. I won't be probably doing these for every single episode always, but my goal is to do these as frequently as possible, just to give some initial thoughts, to get my thoughts out there, and to also just let the world know, and to see what the world thinks about what I've got going on. So this Raw on September 23rd was a fun episode of Raw, a great TV episode, but it makes me very curious to know where we're going to go storyline wise when it comes to just a lot of different things that were on the program. So you start off with a wild beginning with Dom and Liv walking into the building, and then Bronson and Braun Strowman are brawling and fighting around and attacking. And then that leads to an in-ring segment with Liv and Dom, where they're chatting and bragging about how they injured Rhea, and they expect Rhea to come out and basically forfeit her title shot. But instead, Rhea comes out to let everybody know that, hey, since Dom was in every match and was getting involved in all these women's title matches all the way back since post WrestleMania, basically, even in the Becky Lynch title matches, well, you're now going to be in a shark cage. And when I hear that, it's the wrong cage that I was expecting for this feud. I was expecting Liv and Rhea to eventually make their way into Hell in a Cell as well. So you had two Hell in a Cell matches on this card. It would be Liv and Rhea and Punk and Drew. But it looks like we're getting a different style cage for this match to keep Dom out, which I don't know. We'll see where it goes. The feud hasn't truly lit my world on fire, for the sheer fact that I feel like we're just doing some of the same segments over and over and over again, and I'm waiting for that next evolution of the feud. So we'll see where that goes. But that leads us into our first TV match, which was Ludwig versus Zayn, and what a fun TV match that was. And watching Ludwig throughout the whole match, you would just pick up on a lot of different things, and you would kind of see that, oh, he celebrates after hitting his signature move, which is running around the ring and doing that double drop kick into the steel steps. Well, he's doing that, and Zayn looks like he's completely out of it. If he throws him in the ring, maybe he doesn't attack right away. Maybe he beats Zayn, but that young, cocky, brash attitude of his character, he's showboating, celebrating, showing off to people, bragging about beating down Zayn, but then Zayn's able to mount a strong comeback, and in the end, he's able to get the win. And after this, Gunther comes out angry, upset. Oh, you want this match? Oh, you want this match? My answer is still no. And it's the fact that I feel like we're building this up. This doesn't feel like a bad blood match, but more or less this feels like we're building towards Survivor Series in Vancouver, Canada. And what better stage to have an exciting title match for Sami Zayn when you have a huge show in Canada coming up? Why not save and build that? We're not really rushing into the story, and we're doing small bits of it throughout the weeks, but this doesn't feel like we're peaking for Bad Blood. This feels like we're peaking for Survivor Series, honestly. And I'm curious to see where they're going to go with that. But that blends us to backstage, where we're with the New Day. Xavier's talking with Kofi. Kofi's, hey, I got some stuff for you. I got the booty-os, and hey, I got some other stuff on the way. Let's just talk about, let's revisit some of our past and what made us who we are. And Xavier was like, nah, we got to be serious. We got to get real, dialed in. The phrase of the year, dialed in. But we gotta do that, and we got to be able to work towards getting the tag team titles back and getting on track for our 10th anniversary. And Kofi's like, oh yeah, you know what? Cool. You know what? You right, and I haven't been listening to you as a partner. You be the leader. And the second, I'm not doing it justice, because as a 90s kid watching this segment, I was like, oh wow, this is giving me a Goofy movie vibe so badly, of like Goofy giving Max the map and telling him, hey, you know what, you can be the leader and you can make the stops on the trip and everything. And I can see that pushing Xavier, and I mean, we'll get into the match later on in the night, but it makes me curious to see where we're going. And then that leads them to being interrupted, their conversation being interrupted, that is, by American made, and them being teased by, hey, you know what? Y'all were some jokes, and Brutus hits this god awful ugly laugh that might turn him babyface by the end of it, but we'll see how that laugh goes. And they cut to the end of the chase. They set up a tag team match for later in the night between American Made and New Day. And so we'll get to that match later on and some of the results from that match. But they cut to this Jay and Braun video package for the IC title match later in the night. And what a great video package. They have been turning up their video packages to another degree, and I'm going to talk about that later on as well, but I really think that's just something that if they utilize it for your JEY Usos, for a lot of other different up-and-coming people, they have a great video production that, as a kid me, I would love buying the DVDs and watching the video packages they would build for a rivalry, so that way I might have missed some of the shows in between, but I get all the cool story beats with a cool little song and soundtrack. We could talk about WWE and their music because sometimes they're hit and miss, and we're going to talk about a video package later on where I thought the song was beyond miss, but the content was great. And a lot of the times the content is great, and so with the right song, which I think the song for this video package was great, when we have that, I think it pushes these characters and gives them just that extra boost. Like, when you put the machine behind them, why not show that, hey, fans, you can get on their side because we're also on their side. And that's a nice little cool approach that they're taking. We also go backstage to Ilya being teased with the Judgment Day. This is the second week in a row they've done that. I don't really know where they're taking Ilya and his character when it comes to feuding with the Judgment Day, because I look at Ilya, and though Ilya is a character that can stand to lose, I think Ilya needs to be getting some dubs and having some strong singles feuds under him. Him going against the Judgment Day, I don't know. A group that I think needs to stop looking like a joke and needs to get some also serious wins on under themselves as well. I mean, when you look at the whole, and it might be the theme of the show by the end of it, but hey, people need these wins, and there's a lot of questionable matches of where are we going to go with this, what are we going to do, how are we going to get to the end result. When you look forward to War Games, and we know War Games is on the horizon, who's going to be in the War Games matches, and how are we getting there, and is it going to be a Judgment Day War Games match, or is it the Bloodline's turn this year, which it feels more like a Bloodline. But what are we doing with the story for Ilya, and where are we taking him with this narrative? And so taking the time to sit back and see where this is going with him and them. They're teasing a JD Ilya match for next week on Raw, and so that should be a fun time to see how that match goes. They've had some good matches back in NXT, and so it'll be cool to see that on the main roster as well. But Dragon Lee comes out, and I was just laughing to myself because I'm like, we're here to promote the 2K DLC, because as a big 2K player, I know promotion when I see promotion, because Dragon Lee has been scarce and hard to find on my television screen when I want to see him in a real strong match. But here he comes out in a quick squash, basically, finally getting that a strong, quick win over Carlito, which he should have got way back in the day when Carlito jumped him prior to WrestleMania. But he gets that win, but both members of this match, Carlito and Dragon Lee, are both a part of the DLC pack, and so what a great way to promote the DLC in the game and all that cool stuff. But we move forward to The Miz being hyped up by Karrion Kross for whatever reason. I'm with The Miz. Karrion, what's your angle? Why are you here? What's going on? I was a Karrion Kross fan for like the look and the appeal, but I want to know what they're doing with him. I need him to do more. I need him to be... I don't know. I just need to see something break out of him in The Miz. I mean, I like The Miz as he is, so I'm not really complaining about The Miz. I'm enjoying the fact that Kevin Owens is doing something different on SmackDown. We're not always just turning him back to being a heel, so... I love to look at The Miz and say maybe we do something different with The Miz too. And I like the fact that Miz didn't turn on R-Truth right away, and he's actually been a friend down for him. But also, we keep building up this Bronson feud of he's going to face Bronson. He's going to face Bronson, the man who brought Bronson in the first place to feud with folks as a hitman, basically, back in the day, a couple of years ago. Well, now Miz is about to have his own execution later in the show, and we'll get to that later, too. But Sheamus keeps trying to make Butch a thing, and just like Regina George and Mean Girls, I'm smooth. Like, Butch does not need to be a thing. We hated Butch when it first happened. Why are we now trying to make Butch the babyface thing? Because Butch before was definitely not a babyface thing. And yeah, it was a heel name, but also for the fans of Pete Dunne, it was a heel thing. So, like, let's keep it honest. Why are we trying to make Butch a thing? Just, I mean, it's something to give the feud, but, like, let's find something different. Like, let's everything doesn't have to be super deep feud wise across the show, but, like, it doesn't need to be the Butch thing. Like, I'm smooth on the Butch thing, if I'm keeping it a buck with y'all. But the Miz comes down for his execution. He's getting ready for it, and then Bronson comes down ready to kill this man. He's ready for war. And then out of nowhere, here comes Braun Strowman jumping at him, and they break down into a big brawl, and the Miz turns into water and evaporates so fast. Like, I don't see this man. I didn't see this man disappear. This man was gone. Even Tessitore at one point had to bring up, hey, that man's gone. Like, that man dipped so fast. But the two kaijus, if you will, colliding with each other, battling back and forth. Bronson and Braun Strowman both getting their licks in, but nobody getting the real advantage over each other, leading us to the big last monster standing match next week, which, what a title, what a name. I don't know. I like it. Here's my thing. A few months too late, because if you were here in March, you could at least been the promotional package for Godzilla versus Kong New Empire. You could have been a part of that. What a great time to be alive and do that. I mean, but this must be the year of the kaiju with that movie, with kaiju number 8 taking off. Hey, let's build some kaiju up, and what greater kaiju to build up than Bronson Reed with that tsunami splash. So hopefully next week that'll be a fun, cool match. I had a ball with it. I can't wait to see where they go with this. And so Drew comes out. Their feud has gone too far, and their families don't want them to go into Hell in a Cell. I don't know the dramatics of this. I think we've kind of hit our peak with this feud, and I don't really know where the next stop or the next step is, because when I'm watching AEW and people are burning houses down using epidermic needles and all this, that, and the other, I know this is WWE and they're not going to go that far, but I've also seen WWE go far before in their feuds, and I think the bracelet kind of, though a great part of the story, kind of helped push it down and cool some of the heat down. And I think we needed to take a different approach after the bracelet was gone and push ourselves forward. But I don't feel like we've necessarily taken that step. And Drew attacking Punk and putting him out, I don't think also does much for that either. So I don't know what is really missing from this feud to, like, peak it to Bad Blood, but I mean, we're almost there. The match is going to happen. Maybe something happens next week that lights it on fire, but honestly, for me, I don't feel any greater about this feud than I did before Bash in Berlin. I'm good. Like, thumbs up. I'm solid. Let's get to the match, and I hope the match is great, and I hope everybody gets through the match safely so we can move forward with both of their storylines too, because I'm curious to see what's next for both people involved, Drew and Punk. Does either of them go for a world title after this? Does either of them go to SmackDown after this? Because if this feud is just as heated as it's said to be, like, they just can't coexist in the locker room. I don't expect them to coexist on the same show. So, like, who goes to SmackDown? Who goes to Raw? What happens from all the fallout of this? We'll see. But I don't know. We get to another segment where Belair and Jade are confronted by Damage Control right before they go out to face the Unholy Union, and some awkwardness at the start of it, but I do like the vibes that both of these groups give to each other. And Jay talking about, hey, yo, we gonna stand on business. Don't worry, yeah, you might have beat my girl last week. And I love the fact that we keep building the praise and the lore behind this Bianca EO match from last week, because then it's touting how important that match was. Hey, you should go back and look at the highlights of that match. Hey, you should go back and watch it. If you got it DVR'd, hey, go back and enjoy Bianca and EO because they tore the house down. And what a great match that was. And I'm a part of the WrestleHook Podcast, and so I don't think we highlighted that match enough. And for shame on us last week for not highlighting it enough, because it needs to be highlighted. It needs to be talked about. That was such a great match. And so, but they teased the future of, hey, we'll be looking out for you, but whoever wins this match between you and the Unholy Union, we'll see you down the line for a tag team title match. Which, just to get into the title match and then to get into the match that happens with the Unholy Union, Damage Control, what a turnaround. My co-host Brendan brought up the fact that they're going to probably have a babyface run at the very, very start when they first started teasing it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't really know how I see that. I don't know where I see that going, but man, wow. I'm blown away at their crowd reactions. I'm blown away at how much EO has grown as a main roster star and just how much she has been able to cultivate the audience through her WWE title reign, how even post that into this babyface run, they've been able to really get the fans on their side. Just some of their near falls and them biting on stuff. The Unholy Union, I want more from them, and as former tag champions, you would think they would garner more stronger reactions from the crowd, but sadly they haven't, and it's bothered me. It's not bothered me, but I wish they could get more out of what they're doing, and I wish they could actually grow as characters, because I can see the growth in Damage Control. I don't see that growth in the PFC, the Pure Fusion Collective, which they have a package later calling out folks. I don't know. After they lost, I'm kind of like, why are you losing so much? And that seems to be a theme for some of our heels that we're building up, that we don't have to, every heel doesn't have to be the unbeatable, unstoppable heel. And we'll get into that by the end of the night as well. But I don't know. It's a beautiful thing to see on one side of what they're doing with Damage Control in that babyface group, and they're building them up to face Bianca and Jade eventually down the line for the women's tag team titles. And I also like the fact that they're trying to build those tag team titles up, because this is something that they've constantly tried to do throughout the whole existence of those belts. But you have a great set of champions built, cool. You have a great set of former champions that you still are keeping on television in the Unholy Union, great. You're building up a strong babyface tag team and Damage Control. You need to keep building the Pure Fusion Collective. Maybe go back to Davenport and the Unholy Union and build something there, because think about that. We haven't seen that group since the 6-woman tag against the Big Three on SmackDown that one time. So when are we going to get back to that trio? But build up some of these groups, build up some of that, and maybe we can go somewhere with that. But my quote of the night, honestly, caught me off guard. Joe Tessitore, let the people eat. It's just how subtle and quiet he was to Wade. Come on, Wade, let the people eat. Like, Tessitore has honestly been a surprisingly just a good bright spot. He's caught my ear in some of the things he said, and nothing specific. There's no like, oh, he's beating him down like a government mule. He doesn't have those taglines just yet, but his energy is welcomed. His presence is welcomed. His feedback of what he's doing on the show, he's not detracting from it. He's not taking away from me. He's adding to it, and his voice has that commentator feel, because he is a professional sports commentator, but he adds that feel to WWE, and I'm enjoying it so far with him and his ride. But then we jump into they review the Cody and Roman package from SmackDown, and I was talking about the video packages earlier. I love and hate this video package all at the same time, because I hate this Eye of the Storm song thing they got going on. Like, y'all picked some better. You picked a young hip song for the SmackDown theme, but then you dropped the ball and said, yeah, whatever. I don't even know what to call that, but like that was some bad B-roll music for like a movie trailer. But nonetheless, that was a movie trailer. That was cinematic. That was great. And to me, that you can do that in this day and age with your two biggest baby faces now on SmackDown and basically in the company. What better platform to make them feel so important? What better platform to highlight these two people who have Atlanta and Georgia ties? Like, what better way to make Roman feel box office and to simultaneously make Cody feel box office as well by having them in a Fast and Furious, just a movie, high quality camera style shot scene. And that's something that I truly do think that they can benefit from doing down the line, just here and there with the right characters, like with the Braun Breaker at the right time down the line. I think you can work that. Tiffany Stratton, Trick Williams. I think building them up and using those packages to make your stars literally feel bigger and larger than life. Yes, the wrestling has changed and evolved since the 80s and earlier on, and it's shifted, and so have the characters, and so have the wrestlers in their actual sizes. And though we can't do I want to walk through an airport and I want this wrestler to catch you by eye and catch you off guard, though you can't have that with some of the builds and some of your wrestlers nowadays, you can take those video packages. You can take those things and build superstars and people that look larger than life off of that. Tom Cruise is 5'7", and literally people, I didn't know that until I was grown and I looked that up, because he came off like a superstar in movies. And that's not my barometer of a superstar, but he's somebody who's short. Tom Hardy is somebody who's short that literally comes off and seems big as can be and larger than life. You can do it if you shoot it the right way, and they have the great production company that they have behind them, so why not do that with some other stars in the future? So I like what we got from that, and even give smaller versions of this stuff to people, whether it's like a Carmelo Hayes in his barbershop. You use that to weave the narrative of him and Trick, and then you eventually weaved it to get to the narrative of him and Trick turning on each other and Trick coming there to attack him. And then you did the same thing with Andrade as well. Evolve the barbershop now for him, change it into something else, but keep doing these cinematic scenes to give our characters more depth and more just an extra to their pushes. And I'd say for New Day versus American Made, this is the second fun match of the night for me. Just a great tag team match overall. Watching them, it's not the second fun match of the night. I'm sorry, I don't even keep track with me of how many. Hey, off the dome, we going straight off the dome. So, this was just a fun set of matches overall tonight. So, but getting into the New Day American Made match, fun back and forth. Xavier definitely starts to lose the plot at a certain point during the match, because then he starts jumping and attacking Chad Gable instead of focusing on getting the dub. They eventually break down, and hey, American Made get the dub. And my raw thoughts about American Made, I'm a Chad Gable fan. I'm working on a Chad Gable video currently, but I wanted him and the Creeds to get together, but the American Made title and some of the goofy antics and that laugh from Brutus, I don't know, but I'm trying to. And I also really, really, really did not like the fact they were the Wyatt Six first feud, and like the theme I was saying earlier of people are being put in these matches and everybody needs a dub, but not everybody can get a dub. Who's getting these wins and who needs them the most? I didn't think American Made needed to be losing right off the cusp, but they seem to be now building themselves up from the ground up, American style, in air quotations. And so they're working their hardest to get back. And so they just got this win over the New Day through some chicanery. And Chad Gable providing some definite distractions throughout the match. This breaks down to a little promo in the back where the LWO come to try to cheer up the New Day. And Xavier ain't here. They're like, Ray, get out my ear. Like, dog, why are you talking to me about this? Why are you trying to give me advice? You know what? Go get that advice to your son. You clearly so distracted. And then Xavier once again starts to lose the plot because Ray is like, you know what? I gotta focus on Finn. Oh yeah, you want to focus on Finn? You focus on because he's a world champion and I'm not. And if we are building up Xavier and this is the start of Xavier's story to win a world championship, I'm down for it. Because I don't think it's going to happen for at least another good year, but like I don't know where this goes, and I hope we're not breaking up the New Day because I love the fact that this is 10 years strong with this group. And they talked about we want to be a group of black brothers who don't just break down and squabble, and we want to stay together and work together to do that and be united because that sends a different message. And once I heard that message, I loved that take on it. And I never wanted to see a heel turn from them. But I like to see some depth and some story given to them. I see that being this, but I'm curious to know where we're going and where we land with it. But Damian, where I talked about those promo packages and another person who could benefit from a strong video push, Damian Priest got a video push promoting his feud with Finn and leading up to their match at Bad Blood. And clearly, Damian Priest is a fan of New Jack City. This man must have grew up with the VHS, burning that sucker left to right, because him over here using the My Brother's Keeper line constantly throughout this promo, that's clearly from that movie, and that's clearly his influence. So I'm curious to see where we go with this, and I wonder if we get as dramatic of an ending to Priest and Finn as New Jack City. Probably not. But we'll see where that goes. But then that finally leads us to the IC match. Fans going crazy for Jay when he comes out, doing his thing. The Yeet crowd's going. I'm like the energy. I'm like, wow, they're gonna really make Jay lose this match. They're kind of crazy. They're gonna make him lose this match off of this. And then literally, Braun comes out and listening to Braun's theme song. I'm like, yo, you know what? I love his theme song, and I can already, if I close my eyes and imagine him being in a spot like an Edge at SummerSlam 2006 when he beat Cena and he's dastardly walking out with the title, the WWE title, and he's got this smirk and grin. I can hear that Braun Breaker music playing, and I can see Braun doing that same kind of pose with the belt, smirking and grinning, like stumbling out with the backwards out the arena with the title. Like, yeah, I did it. I beat you as a sniveling, or not a sniveling, but a evil dominant heel. Like, I can see that being a thing in the future for him with that music. So I love to poop on Death Rebel and their awful music for most superstars, but they actually knocked this one out the park. And both stars in this match, hey, it's just me, Oos. I love the song. So, but we get to the match. Commentary is beating down Jay the whole match, and not commentary. Let me be more specific. Wade is beating down Jay the whole match to such a heavy degree that at this point I'm like, wow, if Jay doesn't win this match, like, wow, Wade has kind of done a disservice to Jay in the way he's like, oh yeah, Jay's just so much lesser than. Oh yeah, Jay's just not. Jay can't hold up. Yeah, Jay can't do this. Jay can't do that. I'm like, wow, we're gonna beat Jay down on commentary like this. Makes sense for a win, but in my head, Braun's winning this match because Braun has a bigger story, and Jay and Sammy have a date with the tag team championships. So my mind's eye is that's what we're doing, but maybe because we go through a spear exchange, and then out of nowhere, Braun knocked down. Jay jumps over for a Uso splash. 1, 2, kick out. That first kick out, I was like, well, that was Jay's best kick out, Jay's losing this match for sure now. You can even see some of the looks of the fans in the crowd. They're like, yeah, that was it. My man then lost. Jay ends up, we go through another spear exchange. Spear out through the barricade. Jay avoids the running around spear and then is able to spear Braun through the barricade. And then we get him back in the ring. Then we get another spear and Uso splash combination. And Jay ends up winning the match. I'm blown away. I'm caught off guard. The arena's going crazy. I'm happy for Jay as a person. I'm happy for Jay as a character. I also question where this goes for Braun. And I think Braun probably ends up getting the IC title right back from Jay. But I also can see Jay holding the belt for a second. And also maybe becoming a double champion. And winning the tag team titles with Sammy still. I don't think that tag team title when they got over the Judgment Day all those weeks ago, I don't think that's for nothing. I think that they're still going to get that tag team title shot, and I can see them both being double champ. I can see Jay being a double champ. I can see him pushing Sammy to go win the Royal Rumble and then to go get his World Heavyweight title during WrestleMania, so that way they can both be double champs. Now, by the time we get to WrestleMania, Jay might not have any belts, but I can see that being the start of the story and where we're going with this. For Braun, I hope Braun does get back into it, and I hope Braun is able to get a stronger push. They seem to do this a lot with Braun, where Braun will win a title, eventually lose it randomly, and then win it back. He did it where he won the NXT title that way. And I don't know. We'll see where this goes for Braun. I think this hurts Braun in a way where that badass vibe is there go the ambulance for Braun right there. I don't know. I think it hurts his badass vibe, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to hurt him as a character, because I've gone back and I've been watching some old WWE from like back when I grew up, and just a lot of different segments and things. And man, history remembers a lot of the great stuff from angles, and we block out a lot of the bad, because man, there's some bad in some of those angles. And like, I'm watching the playlist video currently for the Batista Triple H feud. I clearly didn't have cable back in the day, so I was a UPN kid. SmackDown always blue brand, but I clearly was missing some stuff on Raw, because whoa. There's some parts of the story I did not know happened. So history is kind to a lot of the bigger moments, and so I'm curious to see where we go in the future. And like when we reflect back on this period, Jay winning this IC title, I'm glad he won it, because the thing is, I did not want Jay going back to the bloodline without winning a title, a singles title. I also like the fact that Jay wins this title and he's able to win it on his own without his family. Braun was pushing that so hard about you can't do anything without your family, that like at this point I was like, I hope Jay really doesn't need his family to get a singles title win. And my co-host brought up the fact that maybe Jay was going to end up finishing his feud with the bloodline, go exercise that, then get his singles world title. But could the popularity of Jey Uso sustain that? I don't think so. I don't think the reactions would be the exact same if we waited through all of that. So to get this win, to get that crowd pop, especially on a night like tonight, what a great thing for Jay. What a great moment. And I'm very curious to see where we go in the future with him as an IC title champion, because him and Sammy as a one-on-one match, for like what Sammy said earlier in the night, that IC title is a very important title to me. Do we get a one-on-one match between those two? Does Braun interrupt that? Where do we go with it? So I'm curious to see where the future of this is, but I'm leaning on that Sammy Jay match in the future. A friendly singles match that does not cause any ripples between their friendship. Just a one-on-one competitive match. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like this video, share it. This is the first of many videos I'm going to be doing. But like I said, my co-host Brendan, I am a part of the WrestleHook Podcast. One word all together. We go live on YouTube every week at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays, and we also do sometimes additional videos here and there, and we'll go live after some pay-per-views as well. So we're big travelers. We went to Money in the Bank this year already. We've been to SummerSlam. We've been to All Out. We're going to a Collision soon. We're going to go to the Make Believe Pro Wrestling shows October 19th and 20th. We plan on being at Mania. We plan on being at the Royal Rumble. I was at this year's Royal Rumble. We've been at this year's SmackDown after WrestleMania. We've been at a ton of shows. So, hey, we're out here. And this is just a cool way to document our adventures, document the wrestling, and, hey, get my little headcanon out there, too. So let me know what you think. Peace and chicken grease, y'all.